June pressed his hands against the soldier's chest. Blood seeped between his fingers. The medical bay lights flickered as another blast hit the UES Mercy. "Stay with me," June said. His voice was calm despite the chaos around him. The soldier's eyes fluttered. His breathing was shallow. June reached for a medical tool and placed it against the wound. The device hummed as it sealed damaged blood vessels. "Dr. Park, we need you in Bay 3. A voice called over the intercom. June nodded to his assistant. "Keep pressure here. I'll be back." He rushed down the corridor of the medical frigate. People moved out of his way. Everyone on the Mercy knew Dr. June Park. He was the best medical officer in the fleet. His hands could save nearly anyone. But he was also known for something else: his fear of conflict. In Bay 3, 2 more injured soldiers waited. Their uniforms were burned and torn. June got to work without a word. His mind focused only on healing. Captain Hannah entered the medical bay. She was tall with short hair and a stern face. She watched June work for a moment before speaking. "Dr. Park, I need your report." June didn't look up. 11 injured. 2 critical. No deaths yet. "Good work." Captain Hannah stepped closer. "The Vrak ships have backed off for now. We'll have a few hours of peace." June nodded but said nothing. His hands moved quickly over the injured soldier. "You know," Captain Hannah said, "for someone who hates war, you're very good at patching up its results." June finally looked up. "I'd rather not have patients at all, Captain." Captain Hannah smiled slightly. "In a perfect world, Doctor." She turned to leave but stopped. "We're being sent to Outpost 7. The Vraks attacked there too." June's hands paused for just a moment. "How bad?" "Bad. They need medical help right away." "We'll be ready," June said, returning to his work. After his shift ended, June went to his small room. He sat on his bed and closed his eyes. Images from his childhood on the colony planet Serenity filled his mind. Green fields, peaceful towns, his parents teaching him to help others. Then came the memory he tried to forget. The day the first raiders came. The burning buildings. His parents rushing to help the injured. They never came back. June opened his eyes and looked at his hands. These hands could save lives, but they could not stop the violence that caused the injuries. For that, June felt helpless. His computer beeped. It was Minji, the ship's scientist. "June, did you finish those blood tests?" Her face on the screen looked tired. "Yes, I sent the results an hour ago." Minji frowned. "Strange. I didn't get them. Can you bring them to the lab?" June sighed but agreed. He walked through the quiet corridors of the night shift. Most of the crew was sleeping. Tomorrow would bring more challenges. At the lab, Minji waited. She was analyzing something on her screen. "Have you heard about Outpost 7? She asked as June handed her the test results. "Captain Hannah told me." "What do you know?" Minji's face darkened. "The Vraks are different this time. They're not just fighting for territory. They're taking people. Taking them where? Nobody knows, but none have come back." June felt a chill. The Vraks were a mystery. They had appeared 6 months ago at the edge of human space. They attacked without warning or communication. "We'll arrive at the outpost tomorrow," Minji said. "Captain wants you to lead the medical team on the ground." June shook his head. "I don't do ground missions." "She says you're the best. Those people need the best." Minji touched his arm. "I know you're scared, June. But being scared doesn't mean you can't be brave." June looked at his friend. Then he looked at his hands again. "Fine," he said. "But I'm there to heal. Nothing else." As he walked back to his room, June didn't know that tomorrow would change everything. The healer would face something that would awaken what had been sleeping inside him for years. Something ancient. Something powerful. Something like a god of war. The shuttle shook as it entered the planet's atmosphere. June gripped his medical bag tightly. 5 other medical staff sat with him. None spoke. They had all seen the images of Outpost 7. 2 minutes to landing, the pilot called. June checked his gear one last time. He had packed extra blood packs, wound sealant, and pain blockers, standard rescue mission supplies. He had done this before, but always on safe planets, never in a war zone. Remember, he told his team, we are here to help the injured. Security will handle protection. The 4 soldiers in the shuttle nodded. They were led by Officer Ta, a man with a scared face and quick eyes. Ta had tried to give June a gun before they left. June had refused. The shuttle landed with a bump. The door slid open. Cold air rushed in. Outpost 7 had been built in a valley between tall mountains. It was supposed to be a research station studying local plants. Now half the buildings were smoking ruins. Stay close, Tad ordered. The area was cleared, but we don't know if all wrecks are gone. The team moved toward the main building. Bodies lay in the open. Some wore lab coats. Others wore simple work clothes. June knelt beside each one, checking for signs of life. He found none. They've been dead at least a day, he told Ta. Inside the main building, they found more bodies, but something was strange. Look at this, called Minji, who had joined the medical team at the last minute. She pointed to a body on a table. This person wasn't killed in the attack. They were studied. June looked closer. The body had been cut open carefully. Organs had been removed and set aside. It was like a medical examination, but done without care for the patient. Why would they do this? Asked one of the medical team. To learn, said Minji. They're studying us. A noise came from deeper in the building. Everyone froze. Someone's alive, Jim said, already moving toward the sound. Wait, Ta called, but Jim was running. In a back room, Jim found a young man hiding under a desk. His arm was badly burned. I'm a doctor, Jim said softly. I'm here to help. The man looked up with fear in his eyes. They're still here, he whispered. Too late, Jim heard movement behind him. He turned to see tall figures entering the room. They weren't human. Their skin was pale blue. Their eyes were large and black. They wore armor that seemed to flow like liquid. The Vraks had weapons pointed at him. Tai and his soldiers burst into the room, guns raised. Get down, Ta shouted. Jim dropped to the floor. Gunfire and strange energy blasts filled the air. He crawled to the injured man and pulled him under a metal table. The battle was quick and one-sided. The Vraks had set a trap. More of them poured in from hidden doors. Ta fell first, a blast burning through his chest. The other soldiers fought hard, but were overwhelmed. Run, Ta gasped to June with his last breath. Get back to ship. June grabbed the injured man and another wounded soldier who was still breathing. He pulled them toward a side door. A Vrak stepped in his way. It tilted its head, studying June with those black eyes. Then it reached for him. Something happened to June in that moment. The world seemed to slow down. He saw a path between the alien's arms. Without thinking, he moved. The Vraks missed him. June didn't understand how he had dodged so easily. He pulled the 2 wounded humans through the door and into a hallway. Behind them, he heard Minji scream as she was captured. I'll come back for you, he promised silently as he escaped with the 2 survivors. His heart pounded. His hands shook. But deep inside, something had awakened. Something that had helped him move with unexpected speed and precision. Something that wanted to fight back. June sat on the edge of a bed in the medical bay. His hands would not stop shaking. It had been 12 hours since he had returned to the Mercy with the 2 survivors. 12 hours since he had left Minji and others behind. You did what you could, Captain Hana said. She stood in front of him, her face tired. You saved 2 lives, and left how many to die? June asked. His voice was sharp. Captain Hana sighed. We've sent a message to Fleet Command. They're sending battleships. We'll get our people back. But they both knew the truth. By the time help came, The captives would likely be dead. Or worse, they would be cut open and studied like the bodies they had found. I need to check on the survivors, Jun said, standing up. But as he rose, the room spun around him. He fell back onto the bed. You need rest, Captain Hannah said. Dr. Kim can wash the patients. Jun wanted to argue, but he felt strange. His skin was hot. His heart beat too fast. And there was something else, a humming in his blood that he had never felt before. Later, in his room, Jun dreamed. He saw faces he did not know. Men and women in old military uniforms. They moved with perfect grace, fighting with bare hands against enemies twice their size. In the dream, Jun was one of them. He woke with a gasp. His sheets were soaked with sweat. The clock showed he had slept for 14 hours. When he stood, Jun noticed something odd. The shaking in his hands was gone. In fact, his hands had never felt steadier. He picked up a glass of water and saw that his reflection in it had changed. His eyes looked different, sharper, more focused. The medical bay was quiet when Jun entered. Dr. Kim looked up in surprise. You should be resting, she said. I need to run some tests, Jun replied. On myself. He took blood samples and scanned his brain activity. The results made no sense. His blood showed new compounds that human blood should not have. His brain was using areas that were normally dormant. While Jun studied the results, the door opened. It was one of the survivors he had saved, a soldier named Do. His arm was bandaged where it had been burned. Dr. Park, Do said. I wanted to thank you. Jun nodded. Just doing my job. No, Do shook his head. You did more than your job. I saw how you moved when the Vraks tried to grab you. I've never seen anyone move that fast. It wasn't normal. Jun looked up sharply. What do you mean? It was like watching water flow around a rock, Do said. Smooth. Perfect. He paused. The military had a program once. Super soldiers. My grandfather told me stories. A chill went down Jun's spine. What kind of program? They called it the Eras Initiative. They used old DNA from ancient warriors, mixed it with new technology. Do stepped closer. The program was shut down, but there were rumors that some children were born with the changes already in their genes. The ship's computer beeped. It had found something in Jun's medical file. A note hidden deep in his genetic report. It read, Subject shows dormant markers consistent with Era's lineage. Monitor for activation under stress. Your family came from Serenity Colony, right? Do asked. A lot of Era's children were sent there to live normal lives. Jun's mind raced. His parents had never spoken about his birth. They had only said he was special. The Era's soldiers could do amazing things, Do continued. But the most incredible ability was what they called battle mind. They could see fights before they happened, plan moves in advance, and they were stronger, faster than normal humans. Jun thought of how he had moved in the outpost, how time seemed to slow, how he had seen the path between the aliens' arms. The program was shut down because the soldiers struggled with their dual nature, Do said. The healer and the warrior, fighting inside one mind. As Do spoke, Jun felt the humming in his blood grow louder. The warrior was waking up, and it wanted to fight. Alarms blared throughout the Mercy. Jun's hands tightened on the surgical tools as he worked to remove shrapnel from a wounded engineer's leg. Dr. Park, a nurse said urgently, Captain Hannah needs everyone in safe zones. The Vrak ships are surrounding us. Tell her I have a patient open on the table, Jun replied without looking up. I'm not leaving. The ship shook as something hit its shields. The lights flickered but stayed on. Over the intercom, Captain Hannah's voice was calm but firm. Attention all crew. This is not a drill. 5 Vrak ships have surrounded us. They are demanding we surrender all personnel. We are attempting to negotiate. Prepare for possible evacuation. Jun continued his work, his hands moving quickly but carefully. The engineer's leg had taken serious damage. One wrong move could cost the man his ability to walk. Almost done, June told the patient. Just stay with me. As he reached for a clamp, something strange happened. The world around June seemed to slow down. His vision sharpened. He could see individual blood vessels with perfect clarity. His mind calculated exactly where each piece of metal was, how deep, what angle to approach. His hands moved with impossible precision. What should have been a 2-hour surgery was completed in 20 minutes. The nurse stared at him. How did you do that? June blinked. The strange clarity was fading, but not entirely gone. I don't know, he said honestly. Another blast hit the ship, harder this time. The lights went out for 3 seconds before emergency power kicked in. We need to move the patient to a safer area, Jum said. As they wheeled the bed into the corridor, Jum saw Captain Hana walking quickly toward the bridge. He handed the patient to the nurse and followed the captain. They won't negotiate, Captain Hana told him when he caught up. They want the survivors from Outpost 7. They say those 2 men saw something they shouldn't have. What about Minji? The other captives? Joan asked. Captain Hana's face hardened. They won't talk about them. I think. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. We can't give them Doe and the scientist, Joan said. We may not have a choice, Captain Hana replied. Our shields won't last. The nearest military ship is 3 days away. They reached the bridge. The main screen showed 5 Vrax ships in a circle around the Mercy. They were sleek, blue-black vessels that looked like giant insects. They've given us 1 hour to decide, a bridge officer reported. Captain Hana nodded. Keep trying to contact Fleet Command. She turned to June. I need you to prepare the survivors for transfer, just in case. You can't be serious, June said. I don't like it either, Doctor. But I have 200 crew members to think about. As they argued, a new alarm sounded. A bridge officer looked up in alarm. Captain, they're launching boarding craft. They said we had an hour, Captain Hana shouted. The Vrax lied, Jum said. Something was happening to him again. The humming in his blood was getting louder. His vision was changing, showing him the ship's layout like a 3-dimensional map. Captain, he said, his voice different now, deeper and more confident. The medical bay has an auxiliary shield. I can protect the patients there. Captain Hana looked at him in surprise. Since when do you know about shield systems, Doctor? June didn't answer. He was seeing battle plans form in his mind. Defensive positions, weak points in the ship, weapons that could be made from medical tools. Get security to the main airlocks, he said. The Vrax will breach in 3 places. I need to get to the medical bay now. Captain Hana stared at him. This was not the timid doctor she knew. This man spoke with authority, with certainty. Do as he says, she ordered her officers. As June ran toward the medical bay, he felt his body changing. His muscles felt stronger, his reflexes faster. The warrior inside was taking control. The healer was becoming a fighter. The medical bay doors slid shut behind June. 12 patients lay in beds. 3 nurses looked at him with scared eyes. Get everyone away from the doors and windows, June ordered. His voice sounded strange even to himself. Deeper, more commanding. But Dr. Park, where will we go? Asked one nurse. June pointed to the back wall. Move the beds there. Form a semicircle. He went to a cabinet and began pulling out supplies. The ship shook violently. The lights flickered again. They've breached the outer hull, Jun said. He knew this somehow. He could feel it, like he could feel the blood pumping in his veins. One of the patients was Do, the soldier he had saved from the outpost. Do watched as June mixed chemicals from the medical cabinet. What are you making? Do asked. Barrier foam, Jun replied. It's meant for sealing wounds, but it can seal doors too. June worked quickly, his hands moving with perfect precision. He filled 3 large syringes with the mixture. Then he went to each entrance and injected the foam into the seals around the doors. The foam hardened almost instantly, creating a tight seal. "That won't hold them for long," Do said. "It doesn't need to," Jun replied. He was already moving to the next task. He opened another cabinet and took out surgical lasers. These tools were designed to cut with microscopic precision. In the right hands, they could cut through almost anything. The ship's intercom crackled. "All personnel, this is Captain Hana. Vrax boarding parties have entered the ship. Security teams are engaging, but they are outnumbered. Protect yourselves and our patients." June handed the surgical lasers to the two nurses who looked strongest. "Point and press. Don't look directly at the beam." "Dr. Park," one nurse said, "we're medical staff. We don't fight." June looked at her. His eyes had changed. They were darker now, with a red ring around the iris. "Today, we do both. We heal, and we protect." A loud bang came from the main door. The Vrax were trying to get in. "Everyone behind the beds," Jun ordered. He picked up a metal tray and began breaking it apart with his bare hands. The metal bent like paper in his grip. He fashioned the pieces into small, sharp weapons. The nurses stared in shock. "How are you doing that?" one asked. Before June could answer, the door exploded inward. Barrier foam flew everywhere. 4 Vrax warriors stepped through the smoke. They were even more frightening up close, tall with blue skin and black eyes. Their armor seemed to move like liquid metal. They carried weapons that looked like long, glowing spears. "Give us the 2 from the outpost," one Vrax demanded in a strange, clicking voice. June stepped forward. "This is a medical bay. These are patients under my care. You will not take them." The Vrax tilted its head. "Then we will take all of you." Time slowed down for June. He saw the Vrax tensing to attack. He saw the paths their weapons would take. He saw exactly where to move, where to strike. When the first Vrax lunged, Jun was already moving. He slid under the spear, came up inside the alien's guard, and drove one of his metal shards into a gap in the armor. The Vrax fell with a shriek. The other 3 attacked at once. Jun moved like water between them. He used their momentum against them. One Vrax stabbed another by accident. Jun broke the arm of the third. The last one he disabled with a precisely aimed metal shard to a nerve cluster in its neck. In less than 30 seconds, all 4 Vrax were down. Jun stood in the center of the room, breathing hard but steady. There was a small cut on his arm, but he didn't seem to notice it. The nurses and patients stared in silent shock. "How did you do that?" Do finally asked. Jun looked at his hands. They were steady, strong, the hands of a warrior, not just a healer. "I don't know," he said, "but I think I'm starting to understand." The battle for the ship lasted 3 hours. When it was over, 20 crew members were dead, and 15 Vrax bodies lay in the corridors. The aliens had retreated, but everyone knew they would return. Jun sat alone in the lab. Medical scans and test results filled the screens around him. His blood work showed massive changes, new compounds, enhanced cells. His brain scan was even more shocking. Areas that should be dark with inactivity now glowed brightly. The door opened. Captain Hana entered, followed by Do. "The stories about you are spreading through the ship," Captain Hana said. "They say you fought like 10 men." Jun looked up. 4. I fought 4 Vrax. "And you killed them with your bare hands," Do added. "No," Jun shook his head. "I disabled them. Only one died, from blood loss. I couldn't save him." The fact that Jun had tried to save the alien who had just tried to kill him was not surprising to those who knew him. He was a healer first, even now. "The crew is calling you the War Doctor," Captain Hana said. "Some are saying you're not human." "They're half right," Jun replied. He pointed to the screens. The Eris Initiative didn't just enhance soldiers. They spliced ancient warrior genetics into their DNA, specifically genes from historical figures known for battle prowess. Like who? Do asked. Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, naval warriors from Korea and Japan, tribal champions from Africa, the best fighters in human history. June's voice was flat. Their genetic material was preserved in old military archives. The scientists used it to create super soldiers. Captain Hannah looked closely at the screen. And you're one of them. Not exactly. The original subjects had problems. They were too aggressive, too unstable, so the program was shut down. June stood up and paced. But some of the scientists believed in the project. They continued in secret, modifying the formula to create a balance. A balance between what? Captain Hannah asked. Between the warrior and the healer, June said. They believed both were necessary for a true protector. The warrior to fight, the healer to save. As he spoke, Jun felt the humming in his blood rise and fall. The warrior was listening. It was part of him now, not a separate entity, but an aspect of himself that had been sleeping until needed. Can you control it? Do asked. Jun closed his eyes. He reached inside himself, feeling for the part that had taken over during the fight. It was there, ready but not forcing its way forward. I think so, he said. It's not trying to take over. It's trying to help. Captain Hannah nodded. Good, because we need both the doctor and the warrior now. She pressed a button, and the main screen changed to show a large Vrax ship. This is their command vessel. It's where they took Minji and the others. June felt a sharp pain in his chest at the mention of Minji. She was his friend. She might still be alive. But the ship looked huge and well defended. We can't attack that, he said. The Mercy is a medical vessel. We have minimal weapons. We're not going to attack it, Captain Hannah said. You are. June stared at her. What? Not alone, Do said. I'm going to. Captain Hannah explained the plan. They would use a small shuttle, modified to avoid detection. A team of 4 would board the Vrax ship. Their mission, find the captives and bring them home. Why me? June asked, though he already knew the answer. Because you're the only one who can fight the Vrax and win, Captain Hannah said. And because you're the only one who can keep the captives alive, if they're injured. June looked at his hands. The hands of a healer. The hands that had just killed an alien soldier. There's something else, Do said. The Vrax said the survivors saw something they shouldn't have. We think they discovered why the Vrax are taking people. What is it? June asked. Do shook his head. We don't know, but we need to find out. June closed his eyes again. The warrior inside was ready. It had been waiting for this moment. The moment when the healer and fighter would become one. When do we leave? He asked. The small shuttle moved silently through space. Its engines were masked. Its hull was covered with material that absorbed radar signals. Inside, 4 people prepared for the most dangerous mission of their lives. June checked his medical pack one last time. He had brought supplies to treat human injuries, but also items that might work on Vrax physiology. He had studied the body of the fallen Vrax warrior, learning what he could about their biology. 5 minutes to contact, said the pilot. A woman named Sun. She was the best pilot on the Mercy. Do was checking weapons. He handed June a small pistol. I won't use this, June said. You might have to, Do replied. The 4th member of their team was a tech specialist named Han. He was working on a device that would help them find the human captives once aboard the Vrax ship. It's keyed to human vital signs, Han explained. It should lead us straight to them. June nodded. Inside, he felt strangely calm. The warrior aspect of himself was alert but controlled. It was like having a second set of senses that processed everything around him. The shuttle approached the massive Vrax ship. It was shaped like a giant blue-black beetle, with sections that seemed to pulse with energy. There, Sun said, pointing to a small opening on the side of the ship. Maintenance hatch. We'll be in and out before they know we're here. No one believed it would be that easy, but no one said so. The shuttle docked with the Vrax ship. The connection was silent. No alarms sounded. They had made it through the first challenge. "Remember," Jum said as they prepared to enter, "our priority is finding the captives. We avoid conflict if possible." The others nodded, though they all knew that conflict was almost certain. They entered the alien ship through a narrow tube. The inside was strange. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with blue light. The air was thicker than on a human ship, with a sweet smell that made June's eyes water. Han activated his tracker. "Human life signs, that way," he whispered, pointing down a curving corridor. They moved quietly, hiding whenever Vrax walked past. The aliens moved with smooth, gliding steps. Their armor made soft, clicking sounds as they walked. After 20 minutes of careful movement, they reached a large chamber. Han's tracker beeped softly. "In there," he said. June peered through a clear section in the wall. Inside, he saw tables with bodies strapped to them. Some were moving, some were still, and moving among them were Vrax in different armor, not warriors, but what looked like scientists or doctors. "They're experimenting on them," Doe whispered. June's enhanced vision could see details the others couldn't. He noticed something odd about the Vrax scientists. They looked sick. Their blue skin had gray patches. Some moved with difficulty. "They're dying," June said suddenly. "The Vrax are sick." "What do you mean?" Sun asked. "Look at them. The patches on their skin. The way they move. It's some kind of degenerative disease." June's medical knowledge combined with his enhanced senses was making connections. "That's why they're studying humans. They're looking for a cure." Han checked his tracker again. "Minji should be in there. Her life signs are weak but stable." June made a decision. "I'll go in first. My medical uniform might confuse them long enough for me to assess the situation." "That's crazy," Doe said. "They'll kill you on sight." "Not if they think I can help them," Jun replied. He showed them vials from his medical pack. "I brought samples of human blood factors and regenerative compounds. If they're looking for a cure, these might interest them." Before the others could argue, Jun's warrior aspect took control of his movements. He slipped through the door and into the laboratory. The Vrax scientists turned, their black eyes widening in surprise. Jun held up his hands, showing the medical vials. "I understand your problem," he said clearly. "I'm a doctor. I can help." The nearest Vrax reached for a weapon, but another stopped it. This one wore elaborate armor with symbols that suggested authority. "You understand our condition?" the leader asked in halting human language. "Yes," Jun said, "and hurting more humans won't solve it. Let me show you a better way." The Vrax leader studied him for a long moment. Then it made a gesture to the others to stand down. For now, the warrior and Jun had given way to the healer, but both remained ready. The Vrax laboratory was filled with strange equipment. Tubes and containers lined the walls. Inside some, floating body parts moved slowly, human and alien both. "Your people are dying," Jun said to the Vrax leader. "A genetic disease." The leader, who called itself Cole, nodded. "Our species is failing. 3 generations, and we will be gone." Jun looked at the captive humans. Some were awake, watching with fear and hope in their eyes. He saw Minji strapped to a table. Her eyes widened when she saw him. "These experiments won't help you," Jun said. "Human biology is too different from yours." "We have tried everything else," Cole replied. "Your species is adaptable, strong. You survive where others die." Jun stepped closer to Minji's table. The other Vrax scientists watched him carefully. "I need to check my friend," Jun said. When Cole nodded, Jun moved to Minji's side. "You came," she whispered. "But how will you get us out?" "Trust me," Jun whispered back. He pretended to examine her while speaking quietly. "Where are the others from the outpost?" Minji's eyes filled with tears. "Gone. They took them somewhere else. I think they're all dead. Anger burned inside June. His vision began to redden at the edges. The warrior wanted to fight, to punish, but the healer understood the desperation of a dying species. He turned back to Cole. I studied your biology. Your cellular regeneration is failing, but killing humans won't fix that. What do you suggest, human doctor? Cole asked. June reached into his medical pack. I brought samples of regenerative compounds that might help, but I need guarantees. Release these people, and I'll work with you to find a cure. A new Vrax entered the laboratory. This one was larger, with darker armor and many weapons. The scientists bowed their heads. What is this? The newcomer demanded. Why is a human standing free in our laboratory? Cole turned. Commander Vol, this human is a doctor. He offers to help with our problem. The commander, Vol, made us sound like laughter. Our problem will be solved when we take their world. We will harvest what we need from billions of them. June felt the eyes of his team members watching from hiding. They were waiting for his signal. The warrior inside him was calculating odds, planning movements, but the healer was still trying to find a peaceful solution. Your plan won't work, June said to Vol. Earth has defenses you can't imagine. And even if you won, harvesting humans won't cure your genetic disease. Vol moved fast, grabbing June by the throat. You know nothing of our plans, human. As Vol's hand tightened, something snapped inside June. Time slowed. The world sharpened. The warrior took full control. June broke the commander's grip with one precise strike. Then he moved, faster than human eyes could follow. He struck Vol in key points that his enhanced mind identified as nerve clusters. The commander staggered back, shocked. Release my people, June said. His voice had changed again. Deeper, commanding, or I will show you why humans are truly dangerous. Vol roared in anger and drew a weapon. June didn't hesitate. He flowed around the energy blast like water around a stone. His hands found pressure points in the commander's armor. He struck with perfect precision. The other Vrax watched in amazement as their commander fell to his knees. June stood over him, but did not deliver a killing blow. I could kill you, June said, but that's not my purpose. I'm a healer. I save lives. He turned to Cole. Even Vrax lives, if you let me. Vol tried to rise again, reaching for another weapon. This time, June struck harder. The commander collapsed, unconscious but alive. The laboratory was silent. Then Cole spoke. The human overpowered our strongest warrior, using no weapons. The scientist looked at June with new respect. Perhaps we have been approaching this problem incorrectly. June nodded. Violence isn't the answer. Cooperation is. He looked at Minji and the other captives. Release my people, and I'll show you what human medicine can really do. 3 days later, the UES Mercy docked at Earth Station Alpha. Medical teams stood ready to receive the former captives. Military officers waited to debrief the crew. And behind them, in the shadows, stood representatives from Earth Command Science Division, eager to speak with Dr. June Park. June was the last to leave the ship. He had spent the journey back working with Cole, who had agreed to come to Earth as a diplomatic representative. They had made progress on understanding the Vrax disease. It would take years to find a complete cure, but June had already developed treatments to slow its progression. Captain Hannah met him at the airlock. They're waiting for you, she said. Earth Command is very interested in what happened to you. June nodded. They want to restart the ERAS program. Yes, Captain Hannah looked troubled. They see you as a success story. A super soldier who can think like a general and fight like a war god, but with the control and compassion of a doctor. Minji appeared behind Captain Hannah. She had recovered well from her time as a captive. I won't let them turn you into a lab experiment, she said fiercely. June smiled. The changes in him had stabilized. He could feel both aspects of himself working together now. The warrior and the healer integrated into one person. I'm not worried, he said. They walked together into the station. The science division representatives approached immediately. A tall woman with cold eyes stepped forward. "Dr. Park, I'm Director Ko. We have a facility prepared for your examination and testing. You'll be well treated, I assure you." Before June could answer, a voice called out, "That won't be necessary, Director." A high-ranking admiral pushed through the crowd. His uniform bore the insignia of Earth Command's highest authority. "Dr. Park is not going to your facility," the admiral said. "The Mercy needs its chief medical officer." Director Ko frowned. "Sir, with respect, this man represents the most significant breakthrough in the ERAS program. We need to study him." "The ERAS program was shut down for good reasons," the admiral replied, "and it will stay shut down." He turned to June. "Doctor, I understand you've already begun working with the Vraks on their medical issue." June nodded. "Yes, sir. Cole and I have developed a temporary treatment. With proper research, we might find a permanent cure." "That's more valuable than any weapon," the admiral said. He handed June a datapad. "These are your new orders. You're to establish a medical corps that combines combat readiness with advanced healing techniques. Captain Hana will provide your ship." June looked at the orders, then at Captain Hana, who smiled. "The Mercy is being reclassified," she said. "Still a medical vessel, but with expanded capabilities. And a new mission." Director Ko stepped forward again. "Admiral, the Science Division has authority." "Not anymore," the Admiral cut her off. "The President has personally approved this. Dr. Park has shown us a better path than simply creating more weapons." He looked at June. "Sometimes the best way to win a war is to heal your enemy." 6 months later, June stood on the bridge of the Mercy. The ship had been upgraded. Its medical facilities were still the best in the fleet, but now it also carried defenses and a small security force trained in June's new techniques. Minji worked beside him in the new research lab. Do led the security team, and in a special chamber, Cole and 3 other Vrak scientists continued their work with human doctors. "Ready to depart, Dr. Park," Captain Hana said. June nodded. On the main screen, a distant star system glowed. Reports had come in of a new species there, suffering from a plague. Both humans and Vraks had offered to help. "Take us out, Captain," June said. As the ship moved away from Earth, June felt at peace. The warrior inside him was satisfied. The healer was fulfilled. He had found his true purpose, not just to fight, not just to heal, but to protect. He had been just a medic. Then the war god in him awoke. But what emerged was something greater than either alone. A guardian of life.